How's it going, laser bruises up, Bobby Sixkilla? Welcome back to the Zodiac Trial. We're partway through this run here. What is the run at the moment? We're doing was Ox, Tiger, Dragon. I don't know. Nothing specific, I suppose. We're going to search alone first because I feel like that's going to be bad news. And then we'll team up. I think we could cover more ground if we search separately, you know? Plus, and no offense, I'm not completely comfortable being alone with someone else at this time. You understand, right? No, I get it. I totally got it. Well then, I wish you luck in your search. 2 more trinkets. 2 more trinkets. And with that, Bunny left. I felt bad rejecting his offer, but something about it made me uneasy. Something about Bunny's demeanor gave me the impression he was hiding something. I wasn't sure he was the killer, but I also wasn't sure he was. I used to work by myself for now. I decided searching the third floor would be best for now. So I went up the stairs and entered the closest classroom. The classrooms were all starting to blend together, but I couldn't give up hope. Hey, classrooms always do, they all look the same. I checked my tablet and realised that round 7 had started. Should I make a move now? It was possible that we'd find the needed mirror trinkets before the end of the round and begin to move with them. There was no need to rush things. As I was contemplating this, I thought I heard something behind me. However, before I could turn around, I felt a tightness around my neck. A thin metal wire choking me. The shitty thing about being choked to death is that you know exactly that you're about to die as you're dying. I tried to lash out behind me to disrupt my assailant whatsoever, but I didn't manage to land a single hit before going limp. And just like that, I was the 4th victim. Likely not the last. 7 of clubs. The origami cat killer won't stop killing until there are at least 4 victims. 4, eh? So we were the 4th. If Mouse decides to keep searching for trinkets on her own, she's liable to become a target. And if Mouse dies, it's likely that there will only be one survivor in this race. Now that's certainly not ideal, is it? No, I guess not. Team up. Sure, that sounds like a good idea. Great. So, where do you want to start looking? How about we try looking more on the 3rd floor? Sure thing. Lead the way. A bit uneasy, I lead Bunny up the nearby staircase to a nearby classroom. This is a good place as any to look, right? Yeah, right. Let's try giving this place a sweep. Bunny and I worked together to look through the classroom for any clues that the trinket might be here. I made sure to keep some distance between the 2 of us. It wasn't that I distrusted him, but better safe than sorry. Unfortunately, it looked like I chose the wrong place to lurk. Nothing, huh? Damn. Well, it's not unexpected. At this point, it's more likely we don't find anything than we do. I guess that's right. Still, I'm glad we're working together. I don't know what would happen if I ran into Tiger right about now. Tiger? I mean, she's the killer, right? I thought you said the killer was Dragon. Yeah, well, that's before Dragon wound up dead. Now that she's gone, I've got no choice but to think the killer has to be Tiger. Even if it's obvious, that's the only way the locked room with Sheep makes any sense. You don't think there's a chance Dragon killed Sheep and someone else killed Dragon? No way. This might sound like a silly reason to believe that, but I don't think more than one person here would know how to fold an origami cat. I mean, that's a pretty obscure skill. I'm surprised even one person knows how to do. That's your reasoning? I said it was a silly reason. No, it's fair. That's a good point. Well, you're right. So, what time is it? Are we on round 7 at this point? I checked my tablet. Yeah, round 7 started. Should we input our actions now? What if we find the minor trinkets? We'd have to wait an extra round. And? We're gonna meet up at the start of round 8, right? I don't imagine we're gonna use the trinkets before that anyways. So we might as well input, you know. Now, you know. I guess you're right. Great. You can input here and I'll put mine in another room. Got it. I don't trust Bunny at all. Bunny left the room, leaving me to input my action. I just had to click run, right? No reason to think any further. I inputted my move and left the classroom. Bunny was also standing out in the hallway. So what now? Want to look at more classrooms? We should be smarter in how we search. Where are these trinkets likely to be hidden? Couldn't they be hidden anywhere? They could, but let's search some key places first. Has anyone looked around the main entrance to the school? It seems like a good place to search, right? Sure, that makes sense. Okay then. With a new searching area in mind, we headed out with high hopes. What could go wrong? I entered the stairwell with my head held high. So then, why did I find Tiger's limp body leaning against the railing? Tiger? Whoa, seriously? Bunny ran forwards and checked her pulse. She's dead too. Why? Why does this shit have to keep happening? Calm down. I think this one's different. Huh? I mean, there's no origami cat by her body this time, right? Bunny was right, there was no signature calling card. It's also not a locked room. That is strange. This also isn't some weird locked room situation, which was the case with all the previous victims. And do you think it's a different killer? It would have to be, considering Tiger was most likely the first killer. Maybe someone else realized Tiger had to be the one behind the other murders and decided to get to her first. But we didn't know that for sure. We still hadn't figured out what the deal with Dragon's murder was. It's too soon to pin the blame of the Origami Cat murders on Tiger. I'm more interested in how someone was able to kill Tiger. It's not another injection case? No, it looks like she was strangled. Well, then it has to be Horse. No one could strangle Tiger except Horse. Unless she was, like, knocked out already. Bunny gestured to Tiger's neck, which indeed had a mark around it. Someone used something like a wire to choke her to death. Oh, well, then I guess it could be anyone, maybe. How horrible. But I mean, who could do something like that? Tiger was on high alert and she's super athletic. Strangling someone, even with a wire, is a slow method of murder that she should have been able to fight back against. The only person I could see being her killer would be Horse. Well, that's what I said. So what, you think Horse did this? He did seem awfully close to Sheep before. You didn't see it because you were too busy investigating the murder, but he was super angry when she was found dead. If he had a reason to believe Tiger was the killer, I could see him trying to take revenge. I don't know. At the very least, I would have thought he'd talk to us about it. Do you have any other ideas then? Do you think someone like Pig or Monkey could have strangled her to death? I just wish I could know if Tiger was really the one behind the first murders. Right, as he said, I received a flash of inspiration. Maybe we can. Let me see her tablet. Her tablet? Yeah, her tablet. I know it's against the rules for someone else to use it, but she's already dead, right? Yeah, and? Let's assume that the murderer was either the person who got the ambitious personality, or the person who got the hateful personality. I don't think there are likely any other motives. Okay, I can buy that. Well, with this tablet, we can check what Tiger's personality is. Oh, that works. I started operating the tablet, but a bit after I interacted with it, I heard a sound. What was that? I believe the knives just shot out of Tiger's collar. What? Even though she's already dead? The execution system is blind to that sort of thing. I looked at Dog's corpse again before he called me over to look at Dragon's corpse, and the knives went into his body as well. Probably because he never input any actions that round. What a brutal system. Yeah, but forget that for now. What's her personality? Is it still going to be selfless? Looking. Why isn't there anything on the screen? I tried tapping it and a voice came on.
Information, run, ability, confess, item.
What is this? Is this tablet voice operated? You might be right. That's weird. Is yours? No, mine's just touch operated. Mine too. Weird. Information.
Personality, ability.
Personality.
Your personality is selfless.
Okay, so the personalities don't change from run to run. They're always the same. Selfless? So she wasn't ambitious or hateful, huh? That means she probably didn't kill anyone. Ambitious has to be Rooster, right? Oh, well, he's had one already, hasn't he? No, he's dumb. That's right. But if that's the case, how the hell did Sheep die? Neither of us had any good answers. Oh, it could be Ox. Ox could be ambitious. At this point, we were lost. So what should we do now? We need to tell everyone about this, right? I thought you were against telling others about the deaths. At this point, they need to know. We're going to meet up at the start of round 8 anyway, right? Let's try gathering everyone to meet up at the cafeteria. We haven't had a good group meeting in a while, and I think that might be useful. Good idea. Plus, we need one less trinket now. You could say that a little less joyfully. Sorry, you're right. But you're right as well. We only need 8 trinkets. And we had 7 not too long ago, right? It's very likely we have everything we need. Right. If we don't need to search for trinkets, we can all stay in one place and stick to a plan. Then we should be safe. Probably. Then let's get to finding everyone. Okay. And just like that, Bunny and I began searching through the hole for others? We told them all to meet in the cafeteria. Luckily, we didn't come across any more dead bodies. When all was said and done, 8 of us were gathered in the cafeteria. Look, I'm not dying until I get into the in memoriam section. Please tell me this nightmare is over. Luckily, I have the good fortune not to stare upon a corpse directly yet, for if I do, I'll most certainly triple the trauma this experience imparts on me. As a therapist, I really can't afford to be psychologically compromised. Therefore, I second Rooster's plea that we end things. You two seem awfully eager to get out of here. Could you be feeling guilty? To feel guilty, you must first sin. And it's sad to say, but angels are sin-free. Your point being? Of course, I'm aware that you're in a fragile state after seeing all this death, but please do not make any hasty accusations. You'd be careful with him, because he easily flips and turns into a fucking nutcase. Fragile camaraderie we currently possess will shatter if the atmosphere gets any worse. How could it get worse? 4 of us are dead. What if I'm next? Oh god, I don't want to be murdered. Please, just let me have a heart attack right now. That'd be way better. Would you all shut up? Christ. Look, everyone who currently has a minor trinket, throw it in this pile. Let's see how many we have. Everyone complied, and with those trinkets putting them in the center, 7, huh? No one has found a single other trinket since we last counted. That's not necessarily true. Snake chimed in from nearby the chess table, where he just moved a piece. If any of the victims found a trinket, they would likely have it confiscated by the killer. And of course, if the ambitious or hateful one found it, they'd also hide it. Helpful, Snake. I try. Do you have to be such a pessimist? I'm a realist. And realistically speaking, our chances of making it out together have plummeted ever since you found Dragon's body in Mr. Golliday's room. Mr. Golliday? The name was written on the door, or written on the whiteboard, no? So you went to check on the crime scene. But of course, after hearing about the locked room situation, I hope to solve it again. Unfortunately, this puzzle was above my ability. So what? Are we doomed? Of course not. Surely there's another way for us to survive. Right? Right? Calm down, will you? The round's about to end. For now, let's just make sure everything's on track. Then we'll discuss future steps. And just as Ox brought our attention to the screen, the speakers kicked on.
Round 7 has ended. Now let's see how the race has progressed.
1, 1, 1. Someone's gonna go for it, eh? Oh, Snake is dead. I mean, Dragon is dead. Monkey's dead. And Dog is dead.
Round 8 has begun. Do your best and choose wisely.
Sheep was on the 5th space. Dog was on the 6th space. Dragon was on the 7th space. The rest of us were in the 8th space. Despite everything, we were still together in the race. Good, so things aren't entirely off track. Not off track? 4 of us are dead. I'd say that's pretty off track. Adaptability is an important skill in life. You're talking as if people haven't been murdered. It's a very unhealthy mental baggage, so I have decided to ignore it. It's just that easy to you? I wonder what exactly you think is easy. What are we gonna do? Keep it down, would you? For Christ's sake, you people are annoying. Sorry. No, don't be. I'm sorry for snapping at you like that. I think the tension is starting to get to me. People, there's nothing to question. Look at all these trinkets we have right here. 7 of them. 1 more and we can get out together. I think what we need to do is clear. Each of you should hold on to one of these trinkets. I'll stay without one for now. We just need to find 1 more of these things. The moment we do, that person calls out and gathers everyone, and then we'll leave together. I know there aren't many left. It's even possible that the traders have taken some. We just need 1 more, that's it. 1 more and we're clear. Yeah, but what if there's only 12? And the traders have already taken all the rest? We can do this. Now who's with me? I am. As am I. Yeah, we can do it, guys. Wasn't that good a speech? No pizzazz at all. Ox somehow managed to turn back the public mood to a positive one. With that, everyone started splitting up to search with positive attitudes. As for me, I started heading to the school's front entrance with Ox. Wow. Way to turn that group feel around. Yeah, well, I just did my best tiger impression. It seems as if that comes straight from someone you don't expect it from. It's more effective. That or people just desperately want to feel hopeful. Tiger might have pumped them up better. She might have. She was kind of weird, but she was a good person. She will be missed. They'll all be missed. Whoever did this isn't going to get away with it. I agree. It's unlikely they will. Who do you think did it? I think this is awfully unhelpful conversation when we're supposed to be looking for minor trinkets. You don't think it's worth figuring out who did it? I think it doesn't really change our course of action. And I think it's impossible to say conclusively who it is with the information present. But if you had to take a guess, I told you I'm not just going to accuse someone of a serial murder for the fun of it. If I was going to say anything, I'd examine the method in which the murders were committed. You mean how how the locked room murders were done? That might be helpful, but that's not what I mean. I'm saying you should think about a process of elimination style. The person wants to kill people off one by one. What would that look like? What about if this person wanted to, or this person? When prosecuting, the trick is to tell the most believable story you can to the jury. Stories are all about characters doing things that make sense to them. For whom would this situation make sense? I get what you're saying. But as I said, search for the trinkets first, mystery solved later. Yeah. With that, we quit our talk of who the killer might be and focused on methodically sweeping the area. Surely a trinket would show up at some point, right? But from room to room, we weren't able to find anything. Eventually, Ox spoke up. It's getting close to the end of the round, right? We should probably run now. Should we try to gather everyone again for this? No, we just need to keep searching for trinkets. If we find a trinket, and everything will be great. We just need a trinket. A small part of the back of my mind despaired with the realization that we've become so far gone for these stupid tokens with random numbers on them. But that part of my brain would have to shut up. For now, even if the game we're playing was dumb, we were playing it with our lives on the line. Ox went into a separate room so we could make our moves. Obviously, I clicked run. We were so close to escaping together, why would I betray now? Ox came back in and then we continued our search. However, it wasn't very long before we had a visitor. Ah, there you are. Snake? Does the fact that you're looking for us mean you found a trinket? Very much not, I'm afraid. Then why are you here? I have unfortunate news to deliver. Who's dead now? Oh no. Is someone else dead? No, not that. Then what is it? I think you should come to the cafeteria and see for yourself. Why the hell did Snake have to be coy at a time like this? Still, there wasn't much I could do but follow his lead into the cafeteria. What am I supposed to be seeing here? Look at the race results. Wait a minute. No way. I was on the 9th space. Ox was on the 9th space. Tiger was on the 8th space. Bunny was on the 9th space. Dragon was on the 7th space. Snake was on the 9th space. Horse was on the 11th space. Sheep was on the 5th space. Monkey was on the 10th space. Rooster was on the 12th space. Dog was on the 6th space. So pig, rooster, monkey, and horse have all taken off. What the hell is going on? It's become complete chaos. Indeed. It seems the group's patience has been pushed to its limits, and they may have begun to rush out for their own safety. We are rather disorganized now. How on earth did we get to this configuration? It appears that us three and Bunny did what we said we would, and of course the dead did not move. Horse moved 3 spaces, meaning he must have used his ability. Pig getting to the 15th space also adds up if she used her ability. The spaces match up. What I'm struggling to comprehend is how Monkey and Rooster got into the 12th and 10th space. That would mean Monkey moved 2 and Rooster moved 4. But neither of their abilities should have allowed for that. Did they lie about what they had? Perhaps, but that would be a rather odd lie. Anyways, this isn't exactly the main issue here, is it? Of course it isn't. Our entire plan's up in smoke. Why did it come to this? Actually, I wouldn't say the entire plan is ruined. There's a way to turn this around and have all 8 of us survive. 6 of us, considering that 2 of us are likely traitors. There is? What? Do you recall how I hid my ability in case things got out of hand? Of course. I've been wondering about that. Well, now's the time for it to shine. It's incredibly situational, I must admit, but we can get it to work. If every other person, excluding myself, is on a different space when my ability triggers, they'll all be brought to the space that I'm at. I am then brought forward 5 spaces, but that's a minor enough difference that it won't affect us if we use the trinkets as one. Whoa. Then if we find a token this round, we'll be able to pull together again and finish as a team. Precisely. But would we even be able to fulfill this condition of yours? Getting everyone onto different spaces is pretty tough. I'll admit it's a bit tricky, but remember, the spaces are checked during my turn. That is, 6 in the order. Luckily for us, everyone after me is already in a different space. We just need to arrange you, Ox, and Bunny to be at different places. Since it doesn't check me, if you don't move, Mouse, things will be fine. But I have to take an action. Then use your sneaky right on me, in which case you'll stay on your space until my ability triggers. If I use Stampede, I'll move to the 14th space, which should also work. However, you run into a problem with Bunny. Where can he go? Funny you ask that. I was suspicious of Bunny's ability from the start, so I had to interrogate him about it later. It turns out that he was still suspicious of us at the time. He lied about his real ability. That sneaky bastard. You have the right to be upset, but at least it'll do some good now. Apparently his real ability will move him 1 space forwards. If there's someone else occupying that space, it repeats. Basically, it's the perfect move to bring him to an unoccupied space. We really can pull this off. Yes, but we must still find another trinket if everyone is to get out safely. Are you in agreement with this plan? It seems to be our only option. This is going to work, it has to. Then get to finding that last trinket, preferably this round. I'll go find Bunny and convince him to act accordingly. Very well then. Remember, the only thing that matters now is finding a minor trinket. You got it. And just like that, we'd regroup from despair with a plan to save the day. As long as we found a trinket, everyone would be saved. Thank God for Snake's ability, huh? Indeed. I must say, as much good as it's doing us, it's a pretty useless ability. What, saving our asses right now? Perhaps, but the fact that we're in a spot where we can arrange such a thing is a miracle. It may not look it, but everyone being on a different space is an incredibly difficult condition to pull off. Considering that, bringing everyone to one place and moving 5 spaces isn't even that big of a payoff. I feel like balance wasn't the biggest concern in Brian's mind when he made this game. Probably not. Anyway, I think we should focus on finding a trinket. It'd be best if we split up. Isn't that dangerous? Perhaps, but not finding a trinket is even more so. I guess you're right, but be careful. Be careful yourself, and find a trinket. I will. When we split up, I was filled with determination. I went through classrooms and at an even greater speed. Part of me was afraid that by rushing through them I was running the possibility that I'd miss something. But I didn't have time to worry about that. As much as I tried to focus on looking for minor trinkets, I wasn't completely able to dismiss the annoyance in my stomach. Why didn't everyone stick to the plan? Yeah, things might have been scary, but to turn their backs on the group without telling anyone like that? That made me livid. No, I shouldn't blame them. They were just scared. They had every right to be. All I needed to do was fix it. I could fix it, right? As I thought this, I ran into Pig. Ah, Mouse! Pig, there you are. You're looking really mad right now. Are you mad? Hell yeah, I'm mad. You completely didn't stick to the plan. I'm sorry. I promise, I'll just run this turn. Well, that's all fine and good, but it doesn't make up for the fact that you're way ahead. I know, I'm sorry. Look, there's a plan at the moment to fix things, but we'll need that final minor trinket. Have you found it? I should have guessed as much. I'll get back to it though. Yeah, do that. I still don't know why you do something like that though. I was scared. Sorry? Look, I was just talking with Snake, and he was saying all these big things about how bad things were and how somebody could betray us. So what, you're saying Snake made you do it? No, I'm not trying to blame someone else, I'm just explaining myself. See, after that conversation, I started worrying about how the ambitious player might be able to start rushing ahead of us. Oh my god, Snake is the ambitious player. He's playing us. God damn it. And I thought that if I got the closest to the finish line, maybe that'd help. What? I don't know. Like, maybe by giving them competition or something. Spare me the nonsense. You wanted the option to abandon us and get to the finish line by yourself if everything went wrong, didn't you? Well, when our plans have been this bad, can you blame me? Yeah, I can. I am. I'm sorry. Just make sure you only run this turn. I will, I swear. And I'll find a trinket for you too. And with that, Pig ran away from me. Her ability doesn't work once she's ahead anyway. She clearly didn't mean to upset me, but I get the feeling she wasn't truly that sorry about what she did. So Snake manipulated them all to use their abilities, so that we'd get to a point where we had to use his ability so that he can win, because he's the ambitious player. That's how I see it. He might even be the killer too. She was so worried because he used the poison, like a snake. She was so worried about her own safety that she thought what she did was necessary, not something to be ashamed of. I was only angrier after the conversation, but I couldn't let that distract me. I needed to focus on what was important. Minor trinkets. Minor trinkets. Minor trinkets. In my search, the only thing I found was another empty safe. Again, I was walking over a previously trodden path. This is what happened when our teamwork fell apart. What shattered it? Was it the announcement after round 3? Well, that definitely didn't help. But no, that wasn't it. It was how we handled the aftermath of Sheep's death. We weren't enough of a group, and everything spiraled out of control from there. I checked the time. The round was almost over. I should make my move and hope someone else found a trinket. If that didn't happen, we'd figure something out. I had to use my ability. I should use it on Snake, right? But if I use it on Nox, I could get far ahead. Was I really just trying to bring everyone together and stick to the plan? Wasn't that a sucker's game? Could I really trust that things would work out? If I rushed forwards, then maybe on my own, I had a really bad feeling about just blindly sticking to the plan. Everything that had happened, all the conversation I'd heard, replayed in the back of my mind. In doing so, I came to the realization about how to survive. So then, this is right? Who to hitch a ride on? I'm going to pick Snake, even though I'm very, very sure now that will get us killed and Snake to the finish line. His ability probably lets him go straight to the end if everyone's on a different spot, right? That's what I reckon. But I guess we'll see. And then we'll come back and do Ox after we desperately fail this because it's a guaranteed fail. Of course I'd stick to the plan. Even if it was dangerous, I'd believe in the group. I couldn't betray Ox and Bunny and Snake just to try and save my own skin. Even if I hitched a ride on Ox, I still couldn't win the race anyway. So my best chance to survive is to stick to the plan. I clicked Act and selected Snake, and with that I walked to the cafeteria with confidence. I noticed that pretty much everyone else had gathered as well. Snake must have succeeded in bringing everyone together. Hey everyone. Mouse. Did you find a minor trinket? I'm worried that by your tone, that tone of question no one else has. So we all failed, huh? Hey, we don't need to worry. After Snake brings things together, we can search as a group. We still have time. I'm not sure about that. Let's keep things optimistic, okay? We can't give up hope. For now, let's turn our attention to the screen. I believe the round is about to commence. Snake was right, the speakers kicked on moments later.
Round 9 has ended. Now let us see how the race has progressed.
Sneaky ride. Stampede. Hop 4 spaces. Snake attempted Serpentine. Or Serpentine. The Serpentine is successful. Yeah, that's what I thought. Snake has moved to the finish line. Thanks to the sneaky ride, the rat also moves 1 space. The horse has run 1 space. The sheep has failed to make a move. The monkey has run 1 space. Yeah. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen.
The finish line has been crossed. The winners are Mouse and Snake. Congratulations. Anyone who has not won has lost. Prepare for execution.
No sooner had the Jade Emperor said that, did I hear the panic cries start to shout. To my left and to my right, everyone started clawing at their throats, started losing their balance. Everyone's faces were a mix of pain and fear. Well, almost everyone's. Except for the man standing right in front of me, unfazed. Snake, what the hell is this? What happened? Ah, Mouse, so you decided to listen to me. That's nice. It would have been awful tragic if I was the only survivor. And if I were to choose anybody to bring with me to the end, it would be you. I could barely see Snake straight. I was boiling with rage. Instead of addressing me, Snake turned to the others. Apologies for everything, everyone, but I believe this was the only way. With things in the state that they were, you don't seriously think there was some way for us to escape together. Trust me. If I thought that outcome possible, I'd have eagerly strove towards it. I admit I wasn't truthful in what my ability actually did. But would you have cooperated if I'd told the truth? No, I don't think that likely. But people, believe me when I say this, I am truly mournful. Whoever put us in this game will pay. The ending will assure that. But I guess that's hollow consolation. You've every right to curse me from hell. I imagine it won't be long before I join you. But until then, there are a few things left unfinished that I ought to sort out. Before then, I just wasn't content to just die. And so I say this with sincerity. See you on the other side. For many, those are the last words they heard. Their bodies now thrashing on the floor stopped moving for good. And I was left just standing there. There with this murderer, this demon. I suspect that my explanation didn't convince you. Very well. You're one of the few with whom I can speak candidly about everything. I suppose then we should have a talk. Ooh, information. And have a talk we did. A long, not very friendly talk. And I heard a lot of surprising things. But no matter what was said, one thing was the case. 10 people were dead in the school and I wasn't one. Ah, I thought we were going to get information. 7 of diamonds. Snake is an incredibly shrewd man who seeks artistry and logic equally. He is more than capable of orchestrating the race to play out how he wants it, especially with everyone so fear-struck by the origami cat killer. Mouse is perhaps the only one who can catch on to the contradictions in Snake's story. If she fails to, Snake will be the only survivor in this race. Not quite the worst case scenario, but awfully close. Well, I mean, I knew that was going to happen, right? Ox. I didn't make this choice because I wanted to betray anyone. I made this choice because I just realized what I was dealing with. My conversation with Ox, my conversation with Pig, and my conversation with Snake. All these put together, I'd realized what was really happening here, and I knew how to stop it. I was walking to the cafeteria with confidence. Most everyone was grouped in the center, though once again, I noticed Snake was moving at the chessboard. Hey everyone. Mouse. Did you find a minor trinket? I'm worried that by the tone of that question, no one else has. So we all failed, huh? Hey, we don't need to worry. After Snake brings things together, we can search as a group. We still have time. I'm not sure about that. Let's keep things optimistic, okay? We can't give up hope. For now, let's turn our attention to the screen. I believe this round is about to commence. Snake was right. The speakers kicked on moments later.
Round 9 has ended. Let us see how the races progress. This should be interesting.
Nice. Moving ahead. Because Serpentine's not going to work now. Serpentine failed. Snake no move. Snake stuck there forever. Well, for this turn.
Round 10 has begun. Do your best and choose wisely.
As expected, I was immediately faced with outrage. Mouse, what the hell is this? I thought we were going to let Snake do the Serpentine thing and fall back in line. Why'd you change your mind, Mouse? Because if I hadn't, we'd all be dead. Isn't that right, Snake? What? Oh my, what a claim. I'm not quite sure what you mean, Mouse. Would you care to elaborate on that? Breathe. I was the leader of our mock trial team. This was just a debate. I had this. Oh, I'll elaborate, alright. In fact, I'm going to give you a beautiful grand finale just like you wanted. Right here, right now, I'm going to expose everything about this stupid race. Well, please, go ahead. I'm quite curious by what you mean. Let's start with explaining why you decided not to follow the plan. Right, your plan. I must say it was awfully convenient that everyone after you, in the order, decided to start freaking out just like that. I heard from Pig that she did it because you made her afraid of the possibility that the traitor would be able to rush ahead and win the race. Oh. Pig, you blame me for your defection? No, she didn't. She simply said that she grew more worried after talking with you. I wonder, did anyone else have a similar experience? Now that you mention it, Snake did pop by when Monkey and I were searching together and said some scary shit. Not that I was scared, of course. But perhaps he was deliberately priming us to betray the group. He talked with me too. Didn't tell me to start sprinting, but I chose to after our conversation. Interesting pattern there, Snake. Care to comment? Well, I suppose when you frame it like that, you could construe ill content. However, I was merely talking with anyone I came across as I searched the skill. I was worried about what might happen if the person with the ambitious personality started to act out, and I shared those fears with my teammates. In truth, I was also gauging their reactions to see if I could figure out who it was. But still, it's a stretch to try and pin the blame on me for the actions they took because they were scared. Besides, I question the point of all that work just to bring everyone back to the same space. You're right, it is a lot of work. It doesn't really make sense to me. Then we're in agreement. No, not really. Because it doesn't actually make sense if you were going to try and bring everyone back to the same square. Sure, that's what you said your ability does, but as you pointed out, people can lie about their abilities pretty freely. I see what you're getting at. That's why you said everyone would be dead. Let me see if I can guess what you're about to say. The only reason someone would go through all this trouble would be to try and survive. My ability must let me instantly go to the finish line if everyone besides me is on a separate space. That's why I deliberately goaded the people after me to break formation, and then I came to the people before me to clue them in on the false plan. There's a certain amount of sense to your story, but unfortunately a story without evidence can be categorized as fiction. Unless, of course, you have some evidence about my ability's true nature. I don't have evidence per se, but I do have something to bring up. It's a tremendously difficult task to get everyone on a different space. With such a high skill requirement, it would make sense for the reward you get to be something stronger than everyone goes to the same space and you get a 5-space lead. That's your reasoning? Mouse, I hate to say it, but Brian's never been the best when it comes to game balance. Surely you can look at other abilities and see how wildly uneven in terms of strength they are. Why, can the same not be said of me? Sure, some abilities might be a bit stronger than others, but your supposed ability is miles weaker than anything else. Perhaps he simply has a grudge against me. Mouse, this can't be it, can it? You've ruined our chance at teamwork due to suspicions built with such slim evidence. Hold on, there's more. Let's go with that one. What if I could prove your desperation to separate us into different spaces was beyond reasonable? Prove the ability really was what you said it was, you'd have no good excuse in acting the way you did. Seeing as I haven't once acted to separate us, I'd be curious as to how you would go about doing that. Please proceed. Is it really a difficult thing having us land on 11 different spaces, especially since we were working as a group for so long? You barely did it when there were 7 of us active. You had no chance when there were 11 of us. Mouse, you're not about to say what I think you are you? Yes, he's the killer. Damn right I am. Snake, I'm accusing you of the origami cat killings. And I believe your motive was to separate the rest of us onto separate squares by force if needed. Furthermore, the reason you needed to do this was because your ability allowed you to instantly get to the finish line if we were all separated. And you wanted to get to the finish line before us because you have the ambitious personality type. For real? No way. There's no way that's true, right? Mouse, you're saying this is the asshole behind all those killings? That's exactly what I'm saying. Oh my. Mouse, I'm afraid I may have indulged your delusions a bit too long. I know you're searching for neat answers to difficult problems, but you can't really believe I murdered those 3 people, do you? I don't. I believe you murdered those 4 people. Well then, I suppose I have no choice but to listen as you try to prove it. Frankly, I'd be impressed if you even managed to tell a story that halfway made sense, but I'm as intrigued as to what you try, so go on then. Mouse, are you sure about this? Trust me, I'm certain. I guess I'll start at how I started suspecting you to be the killer in the first place. Ox told me to think about who could commit these murders in this way. And when I started to think about that, I realized something about these murders. There's an awful beauty in these murders. What? The bodies were all unmarred, killed without much injury, killed almost instantly. Each time a body was found, there was an origami cat nearby, and each time it was found in some bizarre state. I could almost picture it now. In a demonic skill, the cat moved like mist and peacefully killed us in impossible ways. Wouldn't you say there's something poetic in these murders? Poetic? I don't get what you're referring to. Murder is murder. There's nothing beautiful to be found. Perhaps. But think of it this way. Even if you dislike poetry, you'd rather read good poetry than bad, no? You're right, Snake. What I'm saying is ridiculous, but deep down you agree with what I'm saying, don't you? I find it a preposterous leap to suspect me over something like that. The murders were all bloodless simply because messy murders would leave more evidence. The locked room setups were meant to sow doubt and put us in a state of paranoia where we couldn't think straight. Those were all likely motivations as well, but this wasn't the only way to solve these problems. It's your core, Snake. You're an idealist. If you had to kill, some part of your subconscious wanted it to be in a seemingly elegant method. Unharmed bodies, unsolvable mysteries, a calm and methodical battle of wits, not vicious and reprehensible murder. If Horse were to kill us all, he'd start swinging a knife without restraint. If Bunny wanted to kill us, he'd grab a pistol and ambush us one by one. If Rooster wanted to kill us, he'd hit someone over the head with a bat and run. But if you wanted to kill us, you'd use poison and trickery. Plus, you're obviously the only one who can fold an origami cat. As I told you, I do not possess such skills. I respectfully disagree. Do you have anything of substance in your accusations? Theorize about motives all you want, but the fact of the matter is, these murders were, as you call them, bizarre impossible situations. Take Sheep's death for instance. How on earth could I do something like that? You all saw the room, it was impossible to enter unless you had a key. One key was with Tiger at all times and the other was inside the room. The crime was impossible for me to commit. And with that, your accusation crumbles. Impossible, you say? That may be the case if everything was to be believed as we believed it to be. However, we made one false assumption. Oh, it has to be the chain lock presented entry for the room. Just because there's a chain lock doesn't mean you couldn't get in. And how do you figure that? All locks can be picked. You have lockpicking experience, don't you? My, what a hefty claim. I'm sad to say, but I do not know how to pick locks. Even if I did, what would that change? You can pick a lock open, but it would be exceedingly hard to pick a lock closed. Well, it was a simple matter of picking locks. Any one of us could be the killer. Matt's just making things up now, aren't you? No, Shit, I didn't think things through. Snake started towards me. Mouse, please. I realize that things are hectic now, and you're eager to pin blame on someone. It's a perfectly natural reaction, but this is unhelpful. Clearly you haven't even thought everything through yourself. Well, maybe not, but grab my hand. Look into my eyes. Are these the eyes of a killer? His stare was piercing. He looked deeply offended that I would suspect him. Was I in the wrong? I was doing a lot of guesswork. Just as I thought, Snake jerked my hands towards him. Before I realized what was going on, his other hand was around my neck. No, it wasn't a hand. It was a golden knife. What? Snake, you bastard. Everyone settle down. Settle down. We wouldn't want any accidents now, would we? I felt his knife trace a line on my neck. Snake, what the hell? I must commend you, Mouse, for being the smartest one in the room. Unfortunately for you, you weren't quite able to see through my work. Your work? Look, I take no more pleasure in this than you. But it is how it is, okay? I must do what I must do. The hell kind of excuse is that? What do you want? Want? I want nothing. I'm simply going to retreat with Mouse to a nearby room and continue strategizing. Honestly, if I thought my survival too unlikely, I plan on surrendering. In this case, an ugly victory would be worse than a beautiful defeat. When you started accusing me, Mouse, I really thought that was the end of the line. But I believe there actually is a line of play for me left. Like hell I'm going along with your plans. I started struggling in his arms. He was stronger than I'd thought, but not too strong. Settle down, will you? Look, if you play along, there's a decent chance you can actually survive with me. Don't make me... I tried stomping on his foot to break away. Unfortunately, that hit made him jerk his hand unevenly. The hand with the knife by my throat. Before I knew what was happening, I felt a wet dripping on my chest. Oh dear, look what you've done. This is the worst outcome for both of us. A most unfortunate fate. Those words paired with the horrified looks of my allies were the last sensation that entered my brain before my knees buckled. At the very least, Snake would likely be captured by the group after my death. A hollow victory. 7 of Hearts. Snake is not an easy opponent to face down. Mouse's logic needs to be flawless to convince the group and corner Snake. If there's room for doubt, Snake will try something, and it will almost certainly lead to violence, one way or another. A suboptimal path can easily be avoided if Mouse can correctly piece together the past. Okay, we're going to wrap this one up here because we're out of time for today. I know we haven't quite got to the proper end of that one yet, but very start of the next one we will, and then we'll jump back to the choice about whether we lock the weapons in the room or have Tiger guard them. I don't know if it's Tiger actually in this case, but you know what I mean. Anyway, till then, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.